Can we go back to the beginning just to find out where you grew up?
All right, sorry, ADHD problem. I mix so
No, no,
many
no, no,
topics
no.
together.
No.
Sorry, I am so sorry. Well, so where I grew up in Italy, in Rome,
Yeah.
I've been going to random like boxing gym around the neighborhood I was living, but my family never allowed me, honestly, to have any martial arts until classes until I was 18.
Yeah.
Like I used to be a dancer. I used to dance professionally.
Yeah.
Lol. Different of career, and yeah, well, my family was totally against it. I don't think they still like, yeah, go Barry. They don't call me Barry, but like they're not really like supportive, but they're not really against it as well. So they've never been like very supportive. I don't come from one of those families that are really supportive. Like I had lots of like trauma in childhood, like things like divorced family, like all these kind of things. I don't really like to rant about my family. I like there's always somebody that had it worse. So
Sure.
I'm happy I'm here and everything makes me stronger, and so I'm fine. I could train like sporadically in different training gym, but as I told you, like I've been like doing maybe few little competition interclub, but nothing like really serious. That was really affecting my career. But I always had like I always been really keen to learn. I always wanted to get into martial arts. Initially, it was just a passion for boxing because I think boxing is a superior art. I'm sorry, like if you go hands, you go hands. I'm sorry, it's just something else. Like it's beautiful. There's a reason why they call it the noble heart. You know.
I'm interested in knowing because in the UK, and I think this is probably the same in the States, there was a time where it was certain gyms wouldn't take female boxers. You know, you wasn't even allowed to sign up. What was it like in Italy? Was you like welcomed with open arms to train or?
Yeah. You definitely more than welcome to any gym. Like to be fair, like training in Italy is different. Like gym don't have 5 classes per day or like morning, evening, and lunchtime. It's a bit hard to find a gym that had this kind of like training patterns. Sure. Like everything is slowed down. Like the difference is that there are girls that wants to fight, but not all of them are willing to risk the same that actually females fighters risk here in UK. To be fair, there is like lots of like Jasmine, Nicole Disegni, like Manuela Marconetto as well. That she moved in here. Like they are all Italian and they are all pretty good fighters, you know. But like to be fair, it's not really. We are not in the same advanced stage that is outside of the country as far as like MMA. Like the shows are very like reduced. There no lots. There's not the same amount of show that you find outside of Italy. So we're like always restricted to go out. Whether could be like for grappling, so jiu-jitsu, whether could be like for kickboxing or everything. I have to say actually, kickboxing is more like highlighted in Italy. But apart from that, to be fair, like there's not really lots of MMA shows. There's not really lots of cage show. Like most of MMA show I saw in Italy, they have been done in a ring, like a proper ring, like boxing or kickboxing ring, not like a cage. So I'd say that it's still a work in progress. I'd say that Italy still needs to grow up on the side of like the fighting scene. And then, of course, because when you treat like female fighters, it's always like the little escalation because you think of fighting, you don't think of the woman that fights unless you think of biggest name like Valentina Shevchenko, Amanda Nunes, and Rosa Namajunas, and all these kind of girls that made it in UFC or Ronda Rousey that ended up in WWE. But otherwise, like even girls that fight in Invicta and Bellator or one championship itself, like for me, they're like kind of idol. Like all people fighting knows them, but like. When you talk with like guys that watch actual fight, and they're like, "Oh, have you watched UFC night?" Or like they talking about fights, like, "Yeah, you saw the girls." I don't watch the girls in the car. Really? Yeah, I have to be honest. Some American girls that fight in UFC are like crap. Like I have to say that definitely they have the discipline and they put the work. But there's like my friends are 10 times better. Like Chanel, Chloe from my gym, like
Yeah,
10 times better. Kate is 10 times better. Like Olga, the fight in Invicta, 10 times better. Nadine, phew, like you know what I mean. Like I don't talk about myself because I think that I'm still on a very early stage of my career, so I think I got lots to improve, lots to like show up as well, and I still haven't found out the best way to do it on a fight like I do it on training. So I wouldn't put myself like comparing to other people, but I have to say that yeah, there's less space for girls generally in big cards, and even when there is a girl presence, female presence, like let's say people, the audience, not really looking forward to watch them most of the time.
Yeah.
And this is not right, but slowly we will get through it. I'm sure that we will advance in here, and for sure it will progress also in Italy. It's going anyway, it's working. Like there's the gym where I'm based in when I go back to Rome, which is a gym that I've never visited before to start to decide to fight for the Italian IMAF, because I'm representing them. I just went down and I just lost.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Maybe is another question you wanted to do. So I'll go back later. And the Aurora MMA is a very good gym. It's a very good gym. There's lots of guys in there. There's girls as well that are really good, and like they quite complete. They're very good striker. They have very strong wrestling. Most of the guys fighting in Cage Warrior Pro are from there. You know what I mean? So there's also Mikol, which is really good.
Yeah.
And so. Well, I have to say they are good. So slowly they are creating this network. And basically they have this network, Aurora network. Basically all the gym from the other like a small city or like just city around all Italy, they are connected through one line, let's say. Hypothetical line, I don't know how to explain it. But like they are all representing Aurora when they go in bigger competition. Sure. Like for example could be the IMAF and everything, and they all go to Rome to train with also like the main coaches Borgomeo and Carfagna when it comes to competition and things like that. So slowly I'm sure that even Italy will be able to show up that we got the power and the tools and everything to take over the world as well, you know? Like, it's not going to be a one-man job or two-man job like Vettori and the Chirico. And in the UFC, there will be so many more. Like, there was already Carlo Pedersoli, and he's now in Cage Warrior. There's lots more. Like, there's Martignoni, there's Dylan as well. Like, they will make clear to the world that Italy is strong as well.